Yeah, what's up? Okay, so here's the deal. I interview people pretty much every day. And so I have learned a couple of things like the very beginning of that video. That is oftentimes what people kind of look like when they're interviewing for a job that they want. And somehow they think that if they show up looking like that, it's going to be okay. Okay, so like I said, I interview people pretty much every day. And I've learned a couple of things about what not to do and a couple of things about what to do. All right. So I've got 5 things for you today that I want to share about what you should do when you are interviewing to land that job. Okay. So you've looked at the church, you've looked at the resume, you've looked at the profile, you've looked at the whole deal, and you feel like this is a good job for you, and you apply. Okay, now here's some things. Okay, I kind of made some assumptions there. First of all, that like you looked at the job, that you like I feel like you're a good fit for that. So those are a couple assumptions that I'm making there, but I think that you should do that, right? So when you actually are interviewing, here are 5 things that you really should consider doing while you are interviewing. Number one is be enthusiastic. All right. So none of this like slouching, just kind of like chilling and leaning back and look, be enthusiastic, be excited about the job. Look, I know that there's a lot of us right now that have lost our jobs because of COVID or whatever it might be. And so there might be a little bit of hesitance in your voice. There might be a little bit of resentment in your voice or your tone. But look, body language is huge as well. You're doing a lot on video right now. So get up, look at the background, make sure it looks good, that you look good, you dressed right? Like give some enthusiasm. Too many times people are a little bit too contemplative, they're too thoughtful, they're a little bit more reserved in these interviews. Man, get on the edge of your seat, get excited, show some passion, show some excitement for this role. I feel like sometimes I have to like convince people to be excited about this job. I have to like convince them that they should be excited about interviewing. Man, show some excitement. I want to be there. I want to do this job. I want this. You're asking someone to pay you 50, 60, 70, 80, $100,000 and you can't show up excited about an interview. Guys, be excited for your interview. Be enthusiastic, show some passion, show some excitement, get ready for it. Whatever you got to do, do some jumping jacks before you get going here. I don't know, coffee, Red Bull, whatever it might be. I don't recommend Red Bull, but maybe if that's your thing, then go for it. But get enthusiastic, get excited, show some passion. And I know some people are like, well, I don't want to like get all into it. And they say no. Well, if you're not into it, you're pretty much asking them to tell you no before they even say no. So you're basically saying no for them. Okay. So don't say no for them. Be excited, be encouraged, and get up, get going for it. All right. Number 2 is know the church. Guys, let me say this again. Know the church. Know the area, know the role, know what's going on. What are you applying for? Do some research, look at the website, look at the promotional materials, watch some sermons, look and see, look at their statement of faith, look at those things before you even interview. Don't get 2, 3, 4, 5 interviews down and then realize, oh, there's some pretty big theological issues that I don't feel like I could work there. You've just wasted a ton of your time. You've wasted a ton of their time. Know the church. Are they passionate about outreach? Are they passionate about discipleship? Are they passionate about overseas missions? Are they passionate about verse by verse teaching? Are they passionate about topical teaching? Are they passionate? What are they passionate about? And learn their language. Speak their language, right? Because they want to know, do you sound like them? Do you fit well there? So speak their language. If they use life groups, use life groups. If they use small groups, say small groups. If they use D groups, then use D groups. What is their language, those terms that they use? Look at their core values. Do they talk about the Holy Spirit? Do they talk about discipleship? Do they talk about transformation? Use those words, use that in your interview and begin to incorporate that. And also when you're doing that, try to take away some of the language that you have that maybe doesn't translate. Okay. So for example, we called our small groups HB groups. Okay. Now, if I said HB group, the church I'm interviewing with doesn't know what that is. But when I just translate that into say, hey, our small groups, then they understand that. So yes, you got to know what you're talking about on your side, but translate that into their language as well. So be enthusiastic, know the church. The number 3 is show initiative. Show initiative. So many times people say, well, I haven't heard back from them. We're trying to set up a time. Look, show some initiative. Show that you're going to fight through maybe somebody being a little bit slower on emails. Fight through that. Show some initiative and say, hey, I just want to reach out and see how things are going. I want to reach out and see if we can schedule that. They want to see, are you taking an initiative or just kind of sitting in the back and waiting for them to reach out to you? Again, show that initiative. Do a little bit of extra work. Do a little bit to show them what's going on. And when you do that, talk about it. So, hey, I was watching one of the sermons and I noticed this. Drop those little things in subtly to say, hey, I'm taking the initiative to schedule. I'm taking the initiative to watch. I've taken the initiative to do some work as to what housing cost is. I've done some initiative to look at what these things look like. Show that initiative to say, look, I'm interested, and I want to be there. Number 4 is ask questions. Ask good questions. Think ahead, but think of good questions. A lot of times people ask really broad, generic questions that really should have been answered by them doing a little bit of homework on their own. Hey, do you guys have small groups? Well, you probably should have looked and see about that on your own. Do some good, intentional questions. Hey, if the church were to burn down, if everything were to start over, you couldn't do church the way you're doing it, like right now in COVID, what are some of the most important things that you would always come back to make sure you did that? Hey, in 6 months, what would success look like for me? In 2 years, how would I know if I'm successful? Those types of questions. How are the staff developed long-term here at this church? So asking some questions that are deeper than just, surface level interview, surface level website search is really, really important. Okay. Number five is be the best version of yourself. Be the best version of yourself. Okay. Don't try and be somebody else. Be the best version of yourself. And I say this, be the best version of yourself, because everyone knows this, that when you're interviewing, that's the best that you have to offer. Okay. And so they're always going to expect, okay, well, he's probably not going to be as great, or she's not going to be as great, because, you have all the right answers, right? And you have all this kind of stuff, right? But so be the best version of yourself, but don't be somebody else. Don't try and be a better version of don't be trying to be somebody else. Don't try to dress differently or talk differently. Be the best version of yourself. Now, when it comes to dress, that kind of stuff, obviously stay within yourself, but match where the church is at, right? If you're coming from maybe a really formal church where they wear suit and ties, and you're interviewing at a church where it's a little bit more casual, well, you probably don't want to show up in a suit and tie. It's probably not going to be a good impression that you would be a good fit for them. But dress within yourself. What is a good version of yourself? So maybe a polo for you, right? Maybe that's a different version of you. But be the best version of yourself. Show up. Be enthusiastic. Know the church, ask great questions, be the best version of yourself. Guys, right now there's a lot of you interviewing, and I would love to help. And so if I can help in any way, leave a comment, reach out. Would love to help you guys, because right now it's a tough time. And hey, look, I've been there. I've interviewed. And like I said, I interview people all day long. And so I've learned a couple things that are good and some things that maybe aren't so good. So hopefully this video has been helpful. Look forward to talking